the week, we've had a number of questions submitted by various members. So I have a list of questions here. But I also have some 3x5 cards, depending entirely on time. If you have a question that you would like to ask these folks, go ahead and fill out that card and hand it up to me. Again, if I can get to it, we will get to it, but we're going to try to keep this from running super long, so we might not be able to get to your question. No promises are made. A quick mention to the board: if you get the board candidates, you can get that microphone up real close so that it actually picks up. I think there on that first round maybe a couple people who are having trouble hearing. So we're going to start by going to Nikki. So we'll kind of progress down the line here for who gets to answer questions first. And Nikki, your question is this: what history of volunteerism and work with the school district do you have, and do you have children in the district?
Yes, thank you. I mentioned we have a blended family. I hope I'm talking loud enough, sorry. Blended family, so I do have 5 children, and thank you so much. And so they attend 4 different schools in the district, and so really have a good perspective of those that attend in the Kingwood area and also in Fall Creek. And volunteering really is sort of just been, I do volunteer at all of the schools in some capacity or other. I don't have the privilege of being able to serve in a larger capacity at this time, or haven't in the past, because I had some work projects. So a lot of those things have been now there at my current campus for 4 years, and I really feel like that acclimated extremely well and have a lot of things more on autopilot, and am able to really focus on something a little bit larger now. And so we'll not only continue to provide volunteer activities at the children's schools, also we have a lot of volunteer opportunities in the community outside the schools in the Lake Houston area, so balancing that as well. So really big focus for me right now is wanting to move and to be able to serve the district in a larger capacity by serving on the school board.
This way, and then back all the way around, Shane. We're doing 2 minutes each for these. You don't have to use the full 2 minutes, but that's what you're welcome to use.
In regards to volunteering in the district, well, for starters, I did serve 2 terms on the school board, and prior to that, co-chaired the 2008-2005 bond committees. Part of that, and raising all those monies, they both passed by wide margins. And most recently, I served on the 2018 bond committee, and I was one of 3 people selected by the 100-person committee to make the recommendations to the board. And we made that to the board. They approved $575 million, and that also passed by wide margin. So I was very happy to be involved with those things. Prior to that, being involved in district level committees through the years, whether it be student health advisory, the handbook rewrite, things of that nature. And then even since my board service, I continue to be active not only in the district. I served for the last 2 years as the vice president of the Council of PTAs, as their chief fundraiser, and we raised money for scholarships. This most recent year, we raised over $6,500 for those scholarships. We surpassed last year. I also served on the Lake Houston Y board, and I joined that board 2 months before Harvey hit, which was a good thing because there was a lot of need there, obviously. And I want to invite you all to the grand opening on March 18th. Come by and see it. It's an unbelievable facility. And the other things I've done have been involved with special needs is to help to create a satellite group of the Down Syndrome Association Houston here for the Atascocita, Kingwood, Summerwood area. It took some doing to get that off the ground, but they said if you can get us 20, 25 parents to be a nucleus for that group, we will bring programs out to you instead of having to go all the way down to West Tidwell. I don't know if people know where Region 4 is. It's right next door to that. So they can have great programs, but it's tough to get to. So this is going to be a great thing for these parents of Down syndrome students to have this networking group. So I was very proud to be part of that and to get that birthed and off the ground. Thank you.
If you need me to repeat the question, I'll do that. But.
I got it. So I'll take the second part of the question first, which is children in the district. I have 2. I have a daughter, Alexa, who is 12, almost 13. She's a 7th grader at Kingwood Middle School. and I have a son who is 15, almost 16. Please help me. He's about to start driving. And he is a sophomore at Kingwood Park High School. And I think, as I mentioned in my introduction, I've been in the district for 22 years and have just incredibly loved it ever since. I've lived in Kingwood, I've lived in Atascocita, I've lived in Summerwood, so I feel like I have a great vision for up and down, north and south of the bridge. So as it comes to volunteerism, I hate coming after Scarfo because I'm not sure that anyone could meet the level of volunteerism that he has been involved with, but I will try to let you know what I've done. So recently I did serve on the Citizens Bond Advisory Committee, which was a great honor to be able to have the time to serve on that particular committee, and I'm very proud of the product that we came up with, even though there were things that were a matter of compromise. Second, there have been several zoning issues. Apparently, about 11 years ago, I showed up at a meeting that the board had to just sort of introduce a zoning issue. People liked what I had to say, and they asked me to start advocating for them. In addition to that, I do a significant amount of work with special education students, and in my law practice. In every single one of those cases, I do pro bono. Because I feel that passionately about special education and kids in need and distressed families. And then obviously there's the school level where I volunteer for choir and swim and dance team and all of those various things. Thank you.
So I'll go in reverse order as well. So I mentioned at the opening I have 3 kids at Humble ISD. I have 3 kids that will be at Humble ISD, 2 right now. I've got a 10-year-old Addison at Willow Creek, a 6-year-old Blake at Willow Creek as well, and then my wife and I had a newborn. We've got an 8-month-old, Luke. So I think that's one of the things I bring to the board. I think I represent the younger population in terms of the elementary school crowd. I think that's kind of an underrepresented group at the moment on the board, and I think that's one of the reasons why that I was a good fit for the appointment. So, I'm going to be around for a very long time with kids in the district. I'm not worried about the next 3, 4, 5 years. I'm worried about the next 15, 20, 25 years. So that's some history on my kids. In terms of volunteerism, before I was appointed to the board, I like to go into the classrooms and talk to the kids. So my wife was a middle school math teacher at Riverwood, and so I would take that opportunity to go into her classroom and speak about being a CPA, being a business person, and talking to kids about what careers look like. And so that was something that I really, really enjoyed doing. I started doing junior achievement as well, so I spent a lot of time going into the schools via junior achievement, really like the program, the course offering that they have. But since then, I felt like that was all good, but it wasn't enough. I really wanted to do more. So when I heard about the opportunity to be appointed to the board, I thought that was the perfect fit for me to do more and give back to my community. So I can't think of anything that speaks more about being a volunteer than spending your time serving the board and serving the great people of the community. So, little did I know that when I got appointed to the board, Hurricane Harvey would hit just 2 weeks later. And so much time and effort has gone into my time since then in terms of making sure that the community is taken care of as it relates to Hurricane Harvey recovery, and also not losing track of important things like the school bond referendum as well. So one example of Hurricane Harvey, my wife and I are Kingwood residents. We live back at Kingwood and Kings Point. Well, the Tuesday morning that the floodwaters rose, I contacted the superintendent and basically said that we needed to do something to open up our schools to give people an opportunity to have a refuge. Basically, Creekwood was shut down, and we were able to open up Willow Creek, and we spent 2 days there serving the community, volunteering our time, and taking care of people that were in dire straits at that time. So those are just a few examples, but board service, I could go on and on and on about volunteerism. Thank you.
I think what you have to look at, all of it, and I say this, and I know, when we look at board members and when we look at community members, it's service above self. The numbers of hours that we all put in. I mean, I'm on a board of an early childhood center. We go to classrooms on a weekly basis. It's all part of giving our hearts to our children. I mean, the many hours. I mean, when we go to meetings and they ask us how many hours we put in for volunteerism, well, that's our life. That's what we do. I mean, we do everything we can for what we can for our children. So I'm not going to go on because I know you want a great deal of time. So.
I was born to volunteer. Let me tell you something. Today I had the privilege and honor to be invited at Northbelt Elementary School, and I read to the children. I put on my teacher hat and I read, and it feels so very good. But anyway, in addition to Northbelt and Lakeland Elementary School, I also volunteer at Atascocita High School at the concession stands to raise some funds for Atascocita Middle School. My children are in band, so I'm in the band booster. Also in Atascocita Middle School, we do a lot of things there. At Mecklenburg Elementary School as well. One of the things that I wanted to share with you all is that I do a lot for veterans. I do 2 to 3 activities per month for the past 2 years, from baby showers to golf tournaments for active duty servicemen in Ellington, and I raise millions of dollars for veterans and for the schools as well. Also for Family Time Crisis and Counseling Center, I'm also involved in the Purple Ribbon, and I also did a golf tournament for Family Time Crisis and Counseling Center. In addition to that, I do have 14-year-old twins. It's a boy and a girl. They attend at Atascocita High School, and let me tell you, I want to congratulate the superintendent for staying focused, and all of the school board members for staying focused in increasing student achievement. My children did take, Duke University paid for my children to take the SAT, and my little Lucy did score 1200 on the SAT, so I'm extremely proud of that. But heads off to the teachers. I am a retired teacher and a principal, and let me tell you, they're doing a fantastic job.